Henry Ford said that if everyone is moving along together, then success is going to take care of itself. And I know it's a quote that is being used largely to talk about teamwork in corporations and so on. But in this episode and in this series, even as we're closing this series today, we've been discussing about the importance of people in your, as an individual, in your purpose pursuit. You might not be a collaboration, you might not be a company at the moment, a corporation, at the moment, but you do need people in your purpose pursuit. And we've been looking at some kinds of people that you do need in your life. And we're going to do a recap in that, and then we're going to just give this a close, and give it a send-off, a mighty send-off. It's been a wonderful, wonderful series we've been doing. And I consider this one of the most powerful, in fact, one of the most important messages in these episodes, in this podcast. The importance of people in your pursuit of purpose. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Great. I think we all agree that there is no way you're going to do your purpose. There's no way you're going to deploy your vision alone. We all agree on that one. And I know at some instances, especially in the initial times when you are clarifying this vision and so on, you might be alone. In fact, even at that moment in time, we are seeing increasingly, you cannot necessarily be alone. You might even need a mentor or a coach to help you walk the journey of clarity. And once the clarity has come, there's no way, absolutely no way, that your vision is going to come to fruition without it rubbing with other people and without it being refined with other people of different types, which we are going to do a recap right now and see. Without these guys in your life, and even much more, there could be even much more categories of people that I can talk about, but I might not even be able to finish that. But without these guys in your life, your vision cannot necessarily come to fruition. Seriously, the first kind of guys are haters. You might have them, you might not have them, but for the most part, if your vision is viable enough, big enough, normally you're going to attract haters. You're going to attract guys who will, want to pull you down. Mahatma Gandhi said, first of all, they're going to ignore you. They're going to say that you don't belong to our class and so on. Just ignore you, Take no note about you, trying to frustrate you that way so that, you don't belong to them and so on. And then they're going to start laughing at you because now it seems that the first weapon did not work against you. So the second one is laughing at you. The third one is right up front. They're going to start fighting you, bare knuckles, fighting you viciously, some of them viciously, just to make sure that you calm down. And then you win. That's what Gandhi said. So you're going to need haters. Vision normally attracts haters to the same degree that it also attracts other guys that are inspired by it and they want to see it come to fruition or they want to profit from it. Alright, it goes without saying. Secondly, you're going to need hypocrites. Okay, you're not going to need hypocrites, but they're going to come into your life. Who are these guys? They're guys who you think you can count on them, but they don't. They don't deliver. You can't basically count on them, so to speak, as in you can't give them a responsibility and then they're going to accomplish it. They're going to talk and they're going to promise, but they are not going to deliver. Only when the results are needed, that's when you find that these guys were not on board all along, and it brings you back and just forces you to continue the vision, because you must see this vision come through. And of course you're going to find the hypocrites. But then the third group of guys are the guys who are doing the same kind of thing that you're doing in their own lives. It's not your vision, it's their vision, but you're in the same environment. These ones are what we call the comrades. They are in the same environment, the same passion, the same values as you, and you feed off of each other, you encourage one another, you each other sounding board and so on, and so the vision continues to prosper. You need those guys big time. It is not good to be alone. These guys are going to cross-pollinate you and cross-pollinate your vision the more you stay together with them. I was in such an environment before COVID came, and I had an idea, a very big time idea, to create a social media page of social media, what do they call it? Social media platform of some kind. And I don't know how to code. The only thing I knew how to code was Visual Basic for applications in Microsoft Access. I used it like a gazillion years ago. But there's a guy in the vicinity who is a coder, who is pursuing his own things and security and so on and so forth, who said, we can do this. And then the guy comes on board. So we feed off of each other's passion and so on and so forth. You need such like an environment, and you need such like people. Anyway, review the other episodes, the previous episode, to see much more about the the comrades. And then you're going to need the helpers. Helpers, we talked about them in different ways. Those ones who will open doors for you. And then of course you find those ones who will inspire you, things like that. We can review the previous episodes to learn much more about the helpers. And then yesterday we talked about the collaborators. These are guys who are working on the same vision together with you, and it might appear at some point in time they're the ones who are actually pushing you. It might appear that they are bought into the vision the same way, or even much more than you bought into it yourself. It might appear that these are the guys who pick up your manuscript that you've thrown into the dustbin and they say, give it one more shot. These are collaborators. And we said yesterday, very importantly, if you are married, it is actually advisable that one of your collaborators is your spouse. But if a collaborator finds, if you as a vision bearer finds a collaborator in the opposite sex, chances are that the two of you are going to be drawn together so tightly, because this is your life's work. Okay, I've said enough. But today I want us to look at one more category of people, even as we come to a close to this. And maybe I've alluded to this category even as we come along. These are what I call the complementers. I've already mentioned, by the way. These are the complementers. Let me explain the complementers. It comes directly to feed into the topic of this series, which is the importance of people in your pursuit of vision. The importance of people in your pursuit of purpose. So why do you need complementers? For one reason. You are not all-rounded, ambidextrously genius, able to do every single thing. You're able to market, you're able to sell, you're able to code, you're able to talk to the investors, you're able to draw the charts, you're able to create the workbooks, you're able to create the presentations just in one person. See, the complementers are guys that bring to the table strongly that which you do not have. And we need these guys. They are not necessarily collaborators, they are complementers. Because the difference between a collaborator and a complementer is their passion and their involvement. The collaborator, by the way, the greatest thing the collaborator brings on the table is the push for the vision to come to fruition. The complementer, the greatest thing that they bring to the table is skill, or some kind of expertise, or some kind of whatever the value that they are bringing on the table that you do not have in and of yourself and maybe in the rest of the team. So a complementer comes on board because they are so passionate in their own skin and their own skill in whatever it is that they are doing. They are so passionate about it, and they want to serve basically with their skill. They want to serve not with their passion. They want to serve with their skill, with their expertise. Like I've used the example of the guy who is a coder. He's a very brilliant programmer, and he looks at the vision that you are championing and says, this is a good thing. This can be done. Or you can look at a graphic designer in the same token. This is a guy who sees the vision and says, this is a good thing. It can be championed. And what do? They serve the vision from your point of passion, from your point of understanding, but they serve it with their skill. I'm telling you, it is even paramount to have a complementer. In fact, it is paramount to have as many complementers as possible. I've already mentioned some of these guys. It doesn't matter what kind of startup, what kind of passion, what kind of vision, what kind of purpose you're pushing. You cannot be able to push it alone because you are not all-rounded. And even if you are all-rounded, you do not have 24 hours. You cannot work for 24 hours. It is so slow. It is very slow to work alone, even if you're all-rounded. You write your own book. You do your own editing. You create your own cover page. You do your own printing. You do your own marketing. You do your own sales. Come on, you cannot do it alone. Even if you did it alone, it is very slow. It is very slow and cumbersome. Even God in himself. Let me tell you something about God. The genius of God, and I've written this in one of my books. The book is called Turn Your Setbacks into Major Comebacks. The genius of God is in creating things to complement one another. Things are created in parts. There is the summer and there is the winter, there is the autumn and there is the spring. There is the rivers that are pouring into others, and there is others who are pouring into the lakes. And there is day and then there is night. There is photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and oxygen. Complementing. That is the way the universe operates. There is nothing on the face of the earth that is completely in its own domain, not needing any other complementer in its life. None. If you watched Lion King, Simba was told that this is the circle of life. We eat the antelopes and then we die and we go to the ground and the ground becomes grass and the grass is eaten by the antelopes, and it is the circle of life. That is just a rudimentary way to tell you we need complementers. And the complementers I'm talking about are actually working with you, not outside of you. Working with you on your vision, on your purpose. So I don't know what your vision is. If you look around, you will know where you're coming short. If you're very poor at sales, and I know, motivational speakers will tell us, we are all salesmen. Yes, we are all salesmen, but we all don't have the capacity, the suave capacity of a salesperson. And that's why a salesperson comes on board as a complementer. That's why Steve Jobs went to, I think the guy called Scully, to get him out of Pepsi Cola and put him into Apple to oversee the marketing. You get my point. That is a complementer. So what I'm saying is that the complementers are needed 100%. But a caveat here with the complementers. The complementers might not necessarily know exactly what your vision is and might not necessarily have the passion that you do have for that vision, like the collaborators do. We talked about collaborators yesterday. What the complementers do is to bring their skill into the equation. But you should be careful with the complementers. You might not necessarily need to count on them 100%. And maybe they might not necessarily be with you all through. The only complementer I see was, those ones are collaborators actually. But Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, those two complemented one another. They were collaborators as well as complementers, because Wozniak was the engineer, Jobs was an engineer, yes, but he was also a marketer. He was also able to see consumer dynamics in a different dimension as compared to Wozniak. So we are coming to a close of this episode, this series. Of course, there's something deeper you can learn if you read and research much more about these people that you need in your life. You cannot push your vision, you cannot push your purpose alone. You need people to help you. So we've been talking about the importance of people in your purpose pursuit. You're gonna come across haters, you're gonna come across hypocrites, you're gonna need comrades, you're gonna need helpers, you're gonna need complementers like we've talked about today, and you're gonna need collaborators, and probably might need many other people, mentors, coaches. I've talked about people who can inspire you and so on and so forth. The bottom line is you cannot run your vision successfully alone. I wish you all the best, and I wish you all the success that you are willing to work for. Until another day when we do this, starting a new series. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.